Hey guys, I am going to give you a tour of the gardens for 2026. Finally, I'm finding a few minutes to go ahead and record and come talk to you about what's going on in the garden and maybe what's not going on in the garden. So we are in my back garden. So this is my back garden where I plant my shade liking plants. So which would be my cabbage and my broccoli and my cauliflower and my beans and actually some of my squash, my pumpkins and stuff like that. They do actually pretty good in the semi-shade. It still gets plenty of sun, but it's not all day long like my front garden can get really crazy. It's got sun because it's totally open. Back here you can see I've got lots of trees and shade. Even after the ice storm, there's still stuff. And there's my dog, Hank. There's Hank. Hi, Hank. Say hi to him. So fun times here in the gardening. Let's look at some of the stuff. This right here is just one panel for a pole bean for these blue Iroquois beans. And they are doing really good. I planted them pretty good. Or I didn't plant them. I mean, I did plant them, but they're doing pretty good. Now, we've got behind me here, these are my famous purple potted pole beans. And one side is pretty famous. The other side, I can't even point because it's backwards, is not doing that well, is it? So I was saying west versus east side. West side is definitely winning by far. So I don't know what's going on. This over here was a little too compact right here in this row, and it just hasn't done that good. But that's okay because I'm hoping that this side is going to go ahead and do a lot. And I still have time for the east side to go ahead and catch up and do some kind of production for me. I've actually planted those ones a few times. Again, I think it was too compact because we had the sheep in here last year and they must have just really just like sat there and took a lot of naps there or something. But I'm excited for them. I am waiting for them very much. So then we have over here along this hillbilly fencing line that we have is actually pie pumpkins. And I will make some pie actually with them, but if they will actually more go to be feeding all the animals, because the pumpkin seeds like that are anti-parasitic and everyone is dealing with parasites, including yourself and all your animals. So pumpkin seeds are really great for that. Plus it helps kind of feed them during the winter time and stuff like that when you get them stored. Over here, which looks like a total disaster, is a lot of weeds, to be honest. We did do our chaos garden, so I do see some things growing in there that we planted as well. Eventually, probably just should let the ducks in there and let them take over stuff. So then over here, we have actually planted some herbs. So we have some poppy along with the weeds. Okay, can't keep up. Some poppy, some calendula, which I absolutely love. And then back over here are some different types of beets because we love roasting beets with my roasted vegetable recipe, with new potatoes and whatever else I can find. We will throw together and roast that as well. So let me switch my arm. Okay, so behind me over here is actually all my ducks. They hear me and they're hungry, so they decided to come over here, and they were making quite a bit of noise actually. I have over here some I call them perfect pumpkins because they're like the perfect size. And again, all for the animals really. And we will carve some just for fun. And we have some zucchini and some other butternut squash. And then over here, and basically the rest of this area here is all my broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage. And I have been dealing with the slugs very much. But I'm also taking note which varieties are getting really hit with the slugs and which the slugs are kind of leaving alone. And I'm going to make a note of that because this is actually on the second year. I'm going to maybe just grow more of those varieties that I know that the bugs and slugs aren't getting as much. And they can handle getting eaten. Again, you just want those solar panels to be there to grab all this beautiful sun's energy and stuff like that. So I send the kids out here and I'd be like, go get the slugs and then feed them to the ducks. The ducks go wild. Like ducks go wild over. It's really, really fun. So we're doing pretty good back here. I actually have some broccoli heads that are kind of small. Let's see if I can show. A little small. That one can definitely go a little bit longer before I need to go ahead and cut the main head off. But what I always say with broccoli is, even if you got that small head, you might be really disappointed going, oh, I didn't get that much. That stinks. you just leave the plant itself and you will see all these shoots come up of little dippers. And those are the perfect little ones that you would buy, especially for to dip in your ranch or whatever else you like to do with. I love ranch. I love the homemade ranch. So yeah, so it's pretty good. We had the sheep in here last year, so it was pretty fertilized. And I've been using the compost that I have in a pile over here to put around some of the plants just to kind of keep them going and help them. And then underneath these 4 rows where the broccoli is, we actually planted 2 different types of mushrooms, which we won't see until the weather starts going up and down and crazy. We did blue oysters and wine caps. So those work. We did it last year for our first year, and the wine caps work so good. And that was a really cool thing to grow your own mushrooms. And then you kind of knew what kind of mushrooms they were, and you felt a little safer to go ahead and eat them. So let's say hi to the ducks. Hi, duckies. What's going on? We only have a couple ducks, but they are really fun and very lovely. And my husband is currently working on the quack shack. Yeah, so we're working on the quack shack. So let's go to the front garden and check that one out and see what that one's, how that one's looking. And here we go. All right, now we are in the front garden. This is my full sun garden. Gets sun all the time, except for today where it's cloudy, or if you have a bunch of wildfire smoke. So let's take a look at all the stuff that's going on in here. I definitely have been dealing with, let's see, the potato beetles. Potato beetles have come in pretty fierce on this stuff. I have sprayed some Monterey spray with spinosad. It is just a bacteria that the stuff that they eat and doesn't go well with their system. So they kind of go away. And we have, what is it? Some other little cucumber beetles. And that has been kind of a pain too. So everything is kind of on delay this year, like the zucchini and the cucumbers. So let's talk about what we have going on. So I got 8 rows of potatoes, and they're about almost, well, I would say there's 7 rows of potatoes that are about 100 feet long. Last year we harvested well over 1,000 pounds of potatoes, but that is a really good one to grow because that's a staple crop that you can store for a really long time. In fact, I still have some in my crisper drawer. Yes, they're kind of getting squishy. I probably wouldn't even eat them because I'm like, oh my gosh, we've had them for so long. But you could if you had to, okay? Those are one of those food independence, food security foods that grow really, really well here in the Midwest is potatoes. And you just have to buy the seed potatoes once, and you never have to grow or buy them again. It's like beans and garlic and potatoes. These are your staple crops that you guys can live off of and grow really, really well. So I highly, highly suggest it. So here we have some butternut squash that's doing pretty good. And I will just go ahead and keep moving them over to the fence line because I don't want them to get in here and crowd all of my potatoes. I need my potatoes to have some airflow. We also have some different types of beans, dry beans that we're doing this year, navy beans and lima beans, because my husband wants me to make what's that bean? Brown stuff with brown sugar, molasses. My mom always makes it. Baked beans. So I kind of just, okay, you know what? I don't want to buy the cans and I don't want to buy the beans, so I'm going to go ahead and just grow everything myself. That's what we do. And I didn't need to grow refried beans or refried beans. The other kind of beans for refried beans, and kidney beans. So I was like, I'll go ahead and do these different types of beans this year. We have some, let's look down here. We have some different types of peppers. I can actually see a yellow banana pepper that could be picked if I wanted to, which is lovely. That'll be my second one that made me cry. I was so excited. And then we have some other violet sparkle peppers and stuff like that here. Those actually were eaten down pretty good from, we let the ducks in because I've read that ducks should come in and help out and eat your slugs and stuff like that. Well, they ate the plants. So, and we try to let them in the back garden where all the slugs and stuff are, and we're just kind of eating the plants there. So not quite working out what I was hoping. This right here, this area right here that's empty, well, there's some weeds. Of course there's some weeds. There's actually some dill and a volunteer squash plant and a volunteer, probably a cherry tomato, because those cherry tomatoes, man, they like to come and never go away, which is a really good thing. That's okay. So that was where the garlic was. So I will go ahead and work that ground up and probably get some lettuce and kale, beets, stuff like that. That take a shorter amount of time that we can go ahead and still go ahead and plant now in the middle of July and still have lots of stuff. I have a couple celery here that's working out. I just need some for green leaves. I would like to get some for ants on a log. I really like that. I'm gonna turn this around, guys. Stop staring at me. So here underneath all these feed bags actually are my lettuce and carrots. Because they like to blow away because there might be a storm, I thought, and they like to be moist the whole time until they germinate. I'm going to go ahead and I put these down with stakes because you can tell that it's pretty windy here, just to kind of hold that down and keep the moisture in, so I didn't have to come out here and continually water. So I did that in a couple of spots that I just decided to plant, because I planted the lettuce, again, a short-lived or short season, and carrots actually are pretty quick too. And I like to let my carrots go into a frost, the last frost, the fall frost, because it sends the sugars down to the carrot and makes it taste much sweeter instead of like a, I don't know, gross tasting carrot. So here are some sweet potatoes. I decided to try them this year just for fun. It's kind of a Hail Mary. We don't really have a long growing season, but you never know. And they ended up sending them to me several weeks late. So that's really, we'll see what happens with that. But hey, I like to try things sometimes. This is my weed patch that you should be very happy about. Just kidding. Yeah, I am actually showing the good and the bad side of gardening, right? I like to teach both sides of the coin for sure. So that's strawberries. And then we have some marigolds. I just threw in a bunch of seeds. Why not? I'll seed save from it. Over there we have some holy basil. And over there we have some calendula. So we've got some herbs growing in here too. So some medicine. And this over here, all this kind of mess here is some bronze fennel, which is this darker stuff over here. That's a nightmare. Never plant it. This stuff here is asparagus. It's already gone to seed. So it looks ridiculous, but that's kind of what it does. We also have some queens and lace in there as well that need to go, because that really does take up a lot of room. And here we have potato. Spuds galore. We love those. They're so good. Like I was just talking about. Some more bags over here of planting stuff. We have some peanuts here. The first year I did peanuts, did really good. Every year after that has not been my favorite thing. It's not worked out, but you know, I keep trying. Here's my cucumbers. Again, dealing with the cucumber beetles that have kind of came in and really destroyed and slowed a lot of stuff down. But I'm hoping to get, like, there's finally some little yellow leaves that are, or blooms that are coming on. I don't make pickles. I will out of them because likes pickles, but me and my daughter. And sometimes they're just, I mean, to can up a whole bunch of pickles, I'm just going to buy a jar or two a year and call it good. I will do some refrigerator pickles if there's enough, but I really like them for cucumber water and for fresh eating, because they just taste like summer, don't they? Just all that water and this, I don't know, it's kind of like the sweetness. I just really like them. So I'm hoping that they give us some. Let's turn this around again. So we've got some Desi squash. That's something new this year. It's a squash that my brother gave me, so we'll see what happens. We have our several short rows of corn, which looks like something knocked these over. My kids weeded these today. Oh boy, we gotta fix those, huh? Oh boy. But they actually will fix themselves. The wind, you can tell, is pretty big, and they probably touched some of the roots when they were weeding them, but that's okay. It got weed. See, we did chop and drop. That's all you gotta do, people. Chop and drop your weeds. So we have several short rows of corn, so it can pollinate really well. And then you can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of tomatoes, and they are doing pretty good. I definitely see some blight coming on. There's some leaves that are curling, and my guess is that it's from the wildfire smoke. They just kind of aren't happy with it. But I am seeing lots of blooms. You can see here, as long as it doesn't stay too cold for several nights in a row, we will be okay with not having blossom drop. And we're actually getting some tomatoes on, which is great. Let's see how I get to it. there it is. We've got quite a bit coming on, so I'm really excited about that. I have trimmed and snipped and trimmed and snipped these tomatoes many, many times. I can't say many times. I don't know how many times I've done it. 3 times probably. And I will probably definitely do 2 or 3 more times as well, because I want to make sure I'm sending the energy to the fruit and to the tops. And I want to make sure I have a lot of airflow, because tomatoes are picky and they're always susceptible to all kinds of disease. And I definitely see some blight that I already have, but it happens every single year. Sorry, I hit that. And so as long as the tomatoes are fine, and we shall be making some sauce this year, which will make me very happy. So yeah, I keep trimming them. I gotta have that airflow, and I want all the leaves off the ground. So yes, I take a lot of time to trim these very often. And here is my very messy disaster of a hoop house. So this year, I always do self-seeding salad bar in this hoop house. It works brilliantly, except for that I have quack grass and these weeds that we have put where we put this hoop house that are a freaking nightmare, and I can't get rid of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm letting everything go to seed. There's some cilantro, parsley, and some other stuff in there. I'm going to let it go to seed. I'm going to harvest the seed so I can seed save from it. I'm going to rip everything out. I'm going to then cover it with all those paper bags. Those are our feed bags that we get. And I'm going to cover. And I'll probably put on some compost on top. And I want it to basically sit dormant for a solid, I'm hoping a year. I'm hoping I can be patient and let it sit there for a year to help with the ridiculous amount of weeds that we have. And then maybe keep trying to get rid of this grass that is everywhere over here. And you can see, I mean, like literally this has been weed whacked because it's just so thick and ridiculous. So when you're figuring out where you plant your garden, don't plant it in the thickest grass that you have possible. You want good soil, but you don't want to deal with the grass, the certain weeds and grass that you can't actually get rid of. And then in here, let's look at this side. That's a lemon plant, and over there's a lemon plant that I take in during the winter. They don't look very good. We'll see how they do. But here, right here, that's actually from a rotten, frozen root of a turmeric or turmeric, however you guys want to say it. You know, potato type of thing. And I forgot I threw that in there, and this weird like fern stalk looking thing popped up, and I was like, what in the heck? And it exploded and unwrapped like that. I'm like, this is so cool. It looks tropical. And then I finally had my app that I use to like ID some, herbs and stuff like that. That helped. I don't entirely trust it. But that, and then I was like, that's what that was. I threw that in there and I completely forgot. Fun surprise, right? So I snuck in some cilantro over here within the asparagus. And then, yeah, so things are coming along. Some days I'm like super frustrated and being like, man, nothing's going to work out. Nothing's coming on. But I always have to remind myself, and I'm always going to remind you that every year is different, and your garden is different from your neighbor's garden every single year. So when God provides, you preserve. Okay, so keep that close to your heart. When God provides, you preserve. Make sure you're preserving things that your family actually wants to eat, though. That is a trick about that. So if you guys need to learn how to garden, if you haven't already, I have a free download that I'll put in the link down below. That's my free beginner guide to gardening. If you really want to step it up a notch and grow all your own food like we do most of it here, you can join my Food Prude Academy, where we have over 100 lessons that keeps growing each month, and I do a live Q&A. So if that's where you're at and you really want to take it up a notch, and you feel called to do that, I am here for you, and I want everyone to be successful, especially with growing food, something that I am extremely obsessed about. With gardening, it's so good for your soul to be out sweating and working hard, and knowing where your food comes from, being connected to the land. So that's kind of what we do in the Academy of Gardening, Herbalism, Beekeeping, fencing, all kinds of stuff. So maybe I'll see you in there, and God bless, guys, and I'll see you later.